It's okay. We'll just take a minute if you want to come sit down. And especially, yeah, I'm inviting you, so you're not doing anything untoward. Please feel free. Yeah. We share the song of peace. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 When my colleagues at Congregation Mishkan Or heard the news about Hy's passing, we all our hearts dropped for a minute, and I wanted to share with you some memories, some thoughts from Rabbi Nosenchuk. He wrote, "I've known Hy Swirsky for 16 years. He came to the first sermon I shared at Fairmount Temple in 2009, a year before I started. And when I told him that I'd try to make him proud, he assured me that he knew I would. His quiet confidence later sprang into mutual caring for the synagogue, its mission to make a difference in people's lives, the importance of learning in unity, and an abiding sense of protectiveness that he had over me and Rabbi Caruso. He was especially moved on several occasions to confide in me," says Rabbi Nosenchuk, "his concern for my protection and safety when I would travel to City of Cleveland venues, canvass in Cleveland neighborhoods, or speak out on vaccine issues. It's not that he disagreed with my doing so, it's that he wanted to watch my back. Imagine Hy defending off foes who might physically attack me. He cared for everyone and did so with equality. I believe he joined the synagogue when he realized he lived near a neighbor who used to be a rabbi at Anshe Chesed Fairmount Temple, and he wanted to show that neighbor, Rabbi Howard Rubin, that he was a member of the tribe. He stayed because of genuine caring, and he became part of that caring network for people. He'd say, "Sei gesund," like the old-time Yiddish folks would, and he would mean it, wishing and offering to act so that people could be and feel well. Thank you, Rabbi Nosenchuk. Hyman Swirsky was born to Louis and Margaret Swirsky in 1931. 1931, he did not look his age, in the city of Cleveland. His childhood was anything but easy. Still, he was determined to strive and to thrive. He had a dogged ambition and did what he needed to do a job well done. Hy was an insurance salesman, excelled at his vocation, and has been mentioned, he earned the distinct honor of the $1 Million Round Table Award. Both Bonnie and Michael mentioned just how much Hy influenced them both in life skills and in business. He liked to give back. Hy was a leader of the Boy Scouts for years, inspiring and encouraging young boys to become responsible men in the world. He was a good friend. He was Larry Noodleman's wingman. In fact, Hy was set to be Larry's best man at Larry's wedding to Rosa later today. While Larry and Rosa could not be here today, it is their wedding day. Larry wanted to share this note on behalf of himself and his bride. He writes, "Being a life insurance underwriter, Hyman was a people person. He understood family relationships and advised me in regard to dating. When Hy met Rosa, he knew she was the one for me. Rosa and I saw Hy 3 days before he died, and he asked if I was still going through with the wedding. And I jokingly responded, "I'm not sure." Hy replied, "If you don't marry her, I will." Hy was always ready to step in to help others. I chose him as my best man, as he was a best man in all he did in life. Hy was ready to be my date anytime and loved big band concerts and sharing a huge order. This is Rosa speaking a little bit more. And loved big band concerts and sharing a huge order of Hy's favorite food, veal parmesan with poppy seed dressing on his salad. A few days before he went to the hospital, Larry speaking, Rosa and I were pleased to spend time with him and enjoy dinner together in his dining room with his art collection. He said he had eaten little in days, but devoured the meal, including a slice of homemade apple cake. He said to Rosa once, "Whatever you put in front of me, I will eat." However, when we bought a chicken pot pie at Costco, he somehow got the first slice without any chicken in it. He laughed at having no chicken in the famous pot pie that we served. Hy and his late wife, Ruthie, had a passion for statues and art, which he was proud of and kept in his apartment for years. He said he had no religious training, but loved being in temple each Friday night. Only illness kept him away from his beloved synagogue. He went to temple just in case, making points for heaven. He was, sounds very high. He was sad about losing so many temple friends as one does when one reaches 94 years. Everyone seemed to know where Hy was sitting as he served as an unofficial greeter. We sat together often in the back row, and when I met Rosa, she would join us. He concludes, "As I dictate this to Rosa, there are tears in our eyes. We know Hy is watching over us at our wedding and in our future together." Thank you, Larry. Hy was fortunate enough to find companionship with many partners who shared the journey of life with him. 23 years ago, his wife Ruthie passed. I was able to find the eulogy Rabbi Rubin composed for Ruth. Here is a short excerpt. Ruth's perfect day would have been filled with the simple pleasures of gardening, working to serve her clients, making a nice meal for Hy, and shopping, lots and lots of shopping. Even in her shopping, Ruth was always looking for something to buy someone else. Ruth took great pleasure in serving and doing for others, whether it was caring for her grandmother or mother, both of whom moved in with her in their later years, or it was doing for her children. Ruth worked hard, sacrificing much for her family. She loved the pleasures of motherhood. And as devoted and wonderful as Ruth was as a wife, Hy said she was an even better mother than a wife, and she was a great wife. Ruth's beauty and energy radiated a warmth, even though she is gone now. You still feel her energy in listening to her family and clients talk about her. Just a little snippet of that day. Even after Ruthie's death, Hy continued to pursue his interests. His favorite hobby was professional wrestling. Well, I don't know if he wrestled himself, but he enjoyed watching it. He would tune into Channel 61 on Tuesday nights to watch it on UHF downtown. Do you remember UHF? All right, you have to be of a certain age.
He took us. We went.
I think his favorite wrestler was Rhino. If I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, Rhino.
Right, Donnie?
Yes.
He was a Cleveland sports fan through and through, enjoying the Browns in particular, and really relished going to some games with Bonnie. He liked going to the casino at Northfield, perhaps mainly to enjoy the buffet. And in fact, really Hy loved food. He really loved food. He might scrimp on certain things, he would say, but never on food. Hy was a proud Jew, and he made sure that Michael and Bonnie celebrated becoming bar and bat mitzvah, and Hy loved belonging to Temple Brotherhood. We have some members of Brotherhood here today. It was important to him to belong, to be part of something, to be part of a collective. He would routinely attend Shabbat evening services and spent many of the Jewish holidays, maybe all of the Jewish holidays, with Evan and Terry, Evan being his nephew. Evan mentioned how he would never come empty-handed to the home. And he knew, Evan and Terry knew, how grateful he was that Hy was, that he was they were keeping the flame alive, the Jewish flame in the hearts of his children and himself. It was so very important to him. As I began, I can still see him sitting at temple, looking very comfortable, very comfortable. Whenever he would sit down, it just seemed like he was meant to be there. His arms spread out, looking like so sure that this is where he wanted to be in this very moment. He made you feel comfortable. He loved schmoozing with you. He was just an easy hang. And it was always a wonderful sight to see when I saw him at temple. I would see Hy and I would think, okay, everything's in place now. Hy is here. You know, in more recent years, we brought on some new clergy to Fairmount Temple before the merger, one of them being Cantor Vladimir Lapin. Cantor Lapin really appreciated Hy and his presence at Temple. He wanted to share the following. Over the last 5 years, first at Fairmount Temple and more recently at Mishkan Or, Hy became a familiar presence at services. He always arrived early, dressed sharply in his signature leather jacket. I often saw him sitting quietly in the back, watching the room come to life. Maybe he was there to catch the rehearsal, or maybe he was just enjoying being part of the rhythm of it all. The saving of seats, the ushers organizing, the clergy preparing. I came to expect him there. Hy took pride in showing up, in being part of the Temple Brotherhood. He told me that on numerous occasions, and just being present. And that presence, quiet but steady, will be missed. I pray that his memory is a blessing to those who knew him well. May we carry forward his steady presence in our midst. Thank you, Cantor Lapin. And finally, we recently observed Shavuot. It's the Jewish festival of honoring the giving of the 10 Commandments. Number 5 is arguably the most important. Honor your mother, honor your father. We often talk about children honoring their parents, but we also should think about parents honoring their children. And Hy truly honored his kids. Like you said, Bonnie, not always an easy guy, but he loved you so much. And there was a reciprocity in that love that you gave to him, he gave back to you, and it became a beautiful cycle. Bonnie, you have been there all the way. I know he has extended family, amazing people who've taken care of him. Bonnie, you've been his person, and you've gone above and beyond. He knew you were always there for him. You had his back, and he loved you for it. You truly lived up to that 5th commandment of honoring your parent. And we take this time to remember that, to acknowledge that, and to use you as an example of how we should honor our own family when they honor us. Zichrono livracha. May Hyman's memory be a continuous blessing. And let us say, Amen. We pause for a few moments as we consider all that Hy gave to us, gave to this world. And now I invite you, as you are able, to rise at your seats, as you are able, for the chanting of El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, shochein במרומים, עמסי מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר רקיע מזהירים, את נשמת חיים בן לואיס ומרגרט שלח לעולמו. בעל הרחמים יסתירהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני ונחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. El Malei Rachamim, God of abundant mercy, God Most High, may the soul of our loved one who has gone into eternity find the gift of perfect peace in your embrace, together with the holy and the pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold high close to you forever, so that his soul may be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May he find a home with you. May he rest in peace. And together we say, Amen. As we turn to the conclusion of our service, we will move to the burial just not far from this space right here to say Kaddish. If you can make it, that's fine. If not, of course the family understands right here. And then afterwards, oh, please, okay.
I do have one more thing to say. When the obit was, I got a big mouth. When the obit was originally put out, it said that the Shiva will be sitting at 2022. I believe it's 2202. Or you can do 2112, get to Acacia on the greens, and they'll tell you where to go. But yeah, so that's the slight difference there.
Okay, so make sure you have the right address. It's Acacia Park, and it's in Lyndhurst. And the Building 2 at Acacia Park, Building 2. And the family will be sitting today in the reception room until 8 p.m. at Acacia Park. If there are contributions that anyone here would like to make, the family requests those contributions go to the Lake Erie Boy Scouts of America. And you can find them, of course, online. Thank you. I think we're going to ask for Shalom. I'm Rabbi Josh Caruso of Congregation Mishkan Or. I'm here to be here and share our love and respect for our dear High, and maybe share some reflections, stories. Perhaps we'll share a smile and maybe a tear as well for this man who was so much a part of our lives. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. Dear God, this day. Be with us. Wrap us in your presence like a blanket. Comfort our saddened souls, and may the grieving family find solace in the love they share, in the devotion of friends and community, and a knowledge of your sheltering presence. God, console us all in the faith that High lives on among us, in every family celebration, in each of our smiling memories, in his devotion to family and friends. Dear God, Shomea Tefillot, hear our prayers. Find favor in our dear one. Beloved father, grandfather, great-grandfather, brother, a treasured presence to so many, so cherished and admired. Shower your presence upon him. May he be welcomed into your presence. And we say together, Amen. And at this sacred time and place, we send our loving support to those who survive High, his children, Michael and Terry, Bonnie and Dean, his stepson Matthew, to his grandchildren, Rachel, Rebecca, Kyle, and Madeline and Brandon, and his great-grandchildren, and his lifelong friend, Hope Levitt, his nephews, Evan, Barry, Terry. I can still see High sitting in the pews at Fairmount Temple and Congregation Mishkan Or, at a brotherhood event, some other gathering. High Swirsky could have been a fictional character. I rarely met an individual who was more comfortable in his own skin. He was a starker, as we say in Yiddish, a tough guy with a seasoned life, and of course that tattoo. You would want to take High with you down a dark alley. He gave off the vibe of a one-man Jewish Defense League. And all the same, High had a heart of gold. He cared about you. He cared about the Jewish people. He cared about his family. A couple of members of family want to share some words, including his stepson and his daughter Bonnie. Michael, you want to share first?
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. My dad was a little fella with a big attitude. And everybody knows that. He latched on to something, there was no filter. He told you exactly what he felt, and there was no lying to it. If you didn't like the truth, it's too bad. You were getting it. I think one of the biggest things I have to thank my dad for is preparing me for life and starting very early. I showed interest in the Boy Cub Scouts first, and he didn't just put me in it, he kind of took it over. We ended up having the largest pack in, I think it was Northeastern Ohio, Pack 2, and then the troop. And he took over the whole thing. When I was 16, saving up for a car, talking about a car, didn't think I was going to make it just cutting grass. He said, "You want the station wagon?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Yeah, but you are going to pay for everything. Tires, insurance, gas, everything, it's all yours." I said, "Fine," and found out how difficult it was to do things. But that's the whole thing. He set me up for the difficulties in life. He let me know how to navigate the little landmines of life. And I don't think anything made me feel better than when my dad said he was proud of me. That's a wonderful thing. That's love. And it was interesting to find something out about him, that when he was a teenager, he was a bad boy. I did not know that, and I would have never imagined my dad riding a motorcycle, riding out to Mentor Headland to see the girls on the beach, sitting and sleeping on the beach all night. And well, he couldn't let the family know that he had a motorcycle. He had to park that at somebody else's house. Mom would not have put up with that. But I'm sad to see him go. I learned a long time ago, in situations like this, you can't make it much better, but you can make it worse by being sad by looking at the negatives. Now, you look at the positives, you have to. And there was a lot of positives about my dad, and I can see that by looking across the room. I want to thank everybody for coming, and next to my sister, thank you.
Wow, this is truly amazing. This is pretty amazing. Thank you all for coming up. I wrote things out because I'm not good like my brother just. So a friend of mine the other day said to me something pretty powerful. She wrote, "You didn't get to, just give me a minute. You didn't get to spend the rest of your life with your dad, but he got to spend the rest of his life with you." I guess that's the motto of a parent. I could go on and on about funny and happy stories that I have got to experience in 60 years of my life. Was he perfect? Is anybody? As long as I could remember, I was a daddy's girl. His cute name for me was Boo Boo, as in Yogi and Boo Boo. When I was very young, he allowed me to paint my bedroom pink with purple trim and purple shag carpeting. Right, Noreen?
Absolutely.
He always allowed me to have parties and sleepovers with my friends. We did that often. And I had a fairly happy and normal childhood. He sent me to college my first year to Ohio University, then finished at University of Southern Florida. I explored paramedics after and spent time in East Cleveland, then got my insurance license to work with him. It was not something for my brother, so I gave it a try. I spent 19 years working with him. Many times were not easy, as he was a staunch professional, and it was his way or the highway. After not speaking a few years, we mended fences and moved into a building together, my current building that I'm in. We took care of each other for 11 years. I did go to Camp Wise one year, came home 2 weeks later, and he had grown a full beard. I sat when I got off the bus and looked for him for 15 minutes and thought he had abandoned me, but he just had a full beard and watched me roam the parking lot looking for him. He finally admitted it was him. Also, when we had gone to Florida one year, we stopped at a rest stop and Mike was driving. I was 13 years old. And he went to stop to go to the bathroom. I decided to dash out, go to the bathroom, real quick, stood by the men's room. He never came out, so I went back to the car that was no longer there. Mike had taken off, not realized I wasn't in the car, reached back to show me about somebody skywriting, and I wasn't there. My dad, this was the year we got the station wagon. It was 1978. The station wagon was still new with the sticker on the window. And he drove back 100 miles an hour with the flashers coming to get me. When I got a tattoo, well, he had one. When I got a motorcycle, well, he had one of those too when he was young. He used to go to Geneva with a friend of his, Gene, and they used to sell coffee to the vendors in Geneva on the lake, and he used to hang out there quite often. When I started shooting competitively, well, he had a gun too. When I started racing, he always had cool cars when me and Mike were growing up, so I always grew up with cool cars. When I think about how I became who I am, well, I pretty much became who I am because, and he is the one person to blame. I'd like to think he was pretty proud of how I turned out though. I was his best man at his wedding, so it's only appropriate that I become his pallbearer as well. Dad, please tell everyone up in heaven, people, animals, that I love them and that I will see them again someday. My spot here at Mount Olive is right next to him, as we bought these spots probably 20 some years ago. So not only will we be next to each other here at Mount Olive, we'll never be far apart from each other in this life and the next. I would like to publicly thank my brother, who has been my rock, and we would have never gotten through any of this without my cousin Evan and Terry. From the moment my father had his first fall to the end, the knowledge and loving support that you gave me and my brother is invaluable. Also, to all the family and friends that have shown up, you're all wonderful. This is, I hope you're seeing this, because you didn't think anybody was gonna be there. Thank you for the hugs, the calls, the flowers, the notes, checking in on me. Everything has been so special to me, you have no idea. Also, I want to share from Brian, you have been solid for us from the beginning, from Berkowitz, everything with them. Rabbi, you're amazing. And you've also had the many years of friendships with him, so it's a personal association that means a lot to me. When he always said, Rabbi Crusoe, Rabbi Crusoe. Always share fond memories with me, please. Whenever they hit, whenever that text me, tell me, because that's the kind of thing that we live for, that we live off of and live for and look forward to. Dad, I love you. I'll see you again.
Beautiful. Councilwoman Mulberry wanted to share a few words as well.
Sorry, Tina, it's my snot rag.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here today representing the city of Maple Heights. Is that better? Okay, got it. I'll miss your dad too. When I would come to visit you, he'd always speak to me, make me feel welcome, and I'll miss that. Thank you. I wanted to come here today to offer this proclamation. Whereas Swirsky was an accomplished businessman since 1953, when he established Swirsky and Associates, a life and health insurance company that would eventually include his daughter Bonnie. Mr. Swirsky moved his business to the city of Maple Heights in 2014. Whereas Swirsky was a dedicated Boy Scout troop leader to Troop 101, the largest troop in Ohio from 1970 to 1971. Whereas Swirsky was a qualifying member of the $1 Million Round Table from 1970 to 1988, became a lifetime member of the $1 Million Round Table in 1989. And whereas Swirsky was a loving and devoted father, raising 2 successful children, Bonnie and Michael, and whereas Swirsky died on June 4th, 2025, and whereas Swirsky's death is being mourned not only as a great personal loss to his children, other family members, friends, and neighbors, but also as a loss for the city of Maple Heights. Now, therefore, I, Tina Stafford Marbury, Councilwoman, District 6 of the City of Maple Heights, do hereby proclaim Swirsky to be an exceptional citizen of the City of Maple Heights and wish to express our condolences to the Swirsky family as we honor the memory of Swirsky.
Thank you.
What a beautiful tribute. Friends, there's a few seats up here. I'm going to invite a few of you to